Shadik, introduce yourself.
Yes, Abhinay. So, myself Sadiq, and I have around 3 years of experience in .NET technology. So, in the last 3 years, I worked with ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET Web Form. Apart from this, I work with the jQuery, JavaScript, and backend side. I'm in database side. I work with SQL Server, Oracle both. So, these are my skill set, and I am currently working with the Harbinger group. So in the Harbinger group, I am working on the skill. The project name is Skill Survey. So it's a big product, HRMS product. So our team is working on the post hire, and that post hire module is related to like when employee onboard. So after onboarding, there are a couple of surveys and a couple of performance evaluation thing are happening there, like on between onboarding and offboarding. So these on this kind of product I am currently working. And If you talk about the educational background, so I have completed my graduation in BSc IT. So that's all from my side.
Okay. So we will start from books.
Yeah, sure.
What is encapsulation and abstraction?
Okay, so encapsulation is nothing but wrapping up of data into single unit, like that we are doing in the class. And abstraction is like hiding the complexity and showing the relevant information to the user. So abstraction can be achieved using object, and encapsulation can be achieved using class. So let's say you have a couple of properties related to a specific object like car. So car has a brand name, a color name. So these are described informations, and now you want to encapsulate those information in single unit. So you are using class. So you are taking one class and creating a multiple properties for the class: brand, number of doors, number of tires, engines, and all these things. So you can encapsulate this thing using class. So this is called encapsulation. And now you are hiding the complexity and knowing just like a car. So if you want to access the hidden information, so you can use the object. So that is called the abstraction.
Okay. Can we inherit a static class?
Can we inherit?
A static class.
No, we can't inherit static class, and we also cannot create an object of a static class. Static class is basically used to support the some different class, like create an extension method and all.
Sorry, come again.
It's static. We can't create object of a static class, and also we can't inherit the static class,
Why?
because static class is used to support the other classes. Like if you have any compiled class and now you want to add a new method in that particular class, so you will write the extension method. So extension method has to be written using the static class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you used interface in your applications?
Yes.
So, can you give me an example where you implemented interface in your application?
Okay, so there were a lot of places we have implemented the interfaces. So I'll give one example, like we have couple of tables, and based on table we are creating the repositories. So each repository, let's say we have customers table. So based on the customer table, we are having the customer model, and we are having the iCustomer repository interface. So this interface is having like add, update, delete, CRUD operation related functions. So these are the interfaces that I have used in our project.
Okay. What is a solid principle?
Solid principle. Okay. So it's a principle to design a specific software. So solid, S for O for open close, L for list queue change, I for interface segregation, D for dependency injection, and S for single responsibility. So
Yeah.
these
Can you
are the four.
explain? Yeah. Can you explain the
The
dependency
dependency
inversion?
injection. Okay, so dependency injection is a concept when you are developing any software modules and you want to develop a module like a decoupled manner. For an example, you can if you want to create two module, like one module is email sender and another module is email body generator. So if you want, email body generator has to be work independently and email sender has to be work independently, so you will decouple these module. So but this module has have some dependencies between them. So what we are doing, so we are putting the dependency in a different container, and if that dependency required, then we will injecting the dependency using any third party tool. So that third party tool, I know the third party tool is AutoFac.
What is a string builder?
Okay, so if you want to create a mutable string, like you want to change the string in the single object, you want to add, append, or manipulate the string in a single object, so you will create a string builder.
So what is the difference between a string and a string builder?
So if you are creating a normal string, so that will create an immutable string. So if you are appending any string, so it will create a new string with the new object. But string builder creates manipulate the same object, that's a mutable string.
Okay. What is implicit and explicit conversion?
Okay, implicit conversion is like a automatic conversion. We don't need to specify anything. Like if you want to convert the double value, a float value to double value, so that will work as a implicit conversion. And if you want to convert like a bigger data type into the smaller data type, like in the C sharp we will be having a two different data type, like int and float. Int and short. So int has a 3 byte and short has a 2 byte data type. So if you want to convert the bigger data type into the smaller one, so that will require explicit conversion. You need to specify those conversion in the bracket. And if you are converting a smaller data type into the bigger data type, in that case implicit conversion happens.
Okay. So convert a float to a int. Write a syntax for converting float to int.
Converting float to int.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me open the chat window. It is
Last thing.
I'm not able to find the chat window. Oh, sorry, I got. What you want to convert? Can you come again?
Float to int.
Float to int. Okay. So this is the syntax, but it will cause the runtime exception as well. I have written the syntax. Just check that one. But it will throws an error for the type conversion error.
Why it will throw error?
Because that 3.2 will not be converted into the int value. If you are specifying if you specifying 3 only 3f, then it will not throw the error. It will throw like a string is in incorrect format.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the difference between double equal to and equals function?
Double equal to and equals function. Okay, double equal to we will use to check the values, like double equal to have two operands, operand 1 and operand 2, so it will check the value between them. And equals function used to compare the objects. So like if you are having a two object, customer object, customer C1 and customer C2, and if you will use the equal, so it will check the all property, it will check the equality between the all property of these two objects.
Not getting properly.
Sorry for the noise and disturbance. So if you are using double equal to, so it will check the values of the two operands. And if you are using the equals function, so equal function is used with the objects, not the value type, because double equal to you can use with the primitive, for the primitive type like int, char, float. And equals you will use for the objects. So if we are using the equals function, so it will check it will check the all properties between these two objects.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the difference between delegate and pointer?
Delegate and pointer. Delegate, I know delegate is a pointer to a specific function, but in the C# we don't have pointer as far as I know.
Okay. So now what is MVC and why we use MVC?
MVC is an architecture like model view controller, and ASP.NET MVC is a framework that is provided by the Microsoft. We are using ASP.NET MVC framework because it has a lot of advantage, like you can use the TDD approach, test driven development approach, you can you will be having a separation of concern, you are having their own model is separate, view is separate, and your business logic is written as a separate thing. Apart from this, MVC has a request life cycle, not like the page life cycle that we are having in the web form. So in the web form we are having a page life cycle. Here we have a request life cycle. In the request life cycle you can inject anything in between the requests using the filters, using the modules. So these are the advantage that I can see for using the MVC as compared to web form.
So what is the ASP.NET MVC life cycle?
ASP.NET MVC lifecycle. So if you talk about the request lifecycle, so what the request is coming. So the first request comes to the IIS, then IIS receive those requests, and then request goes to the routing. Then routing specifies what controller and action in a specific URL. So after specifying the controller and action, it goes to the specific controller and action. If those particular requests register the filter, so it will execute the filter first, then goes to action, and it will execute the action. After executing the action, it will generate the result, and then those results sent back to the client in the form of HTTP response. So these are entire request life cycle for the MVC. And if you are registering the result filter, before generating the result and after generating the result, it will also execute the result filter as well.
Okay. What is the return type of an action method?
So the common return type is the action result. If you want to specify the specific return type, so you can use view result, JSON result, file result, content result, redirect to action result. So these are the results.
Okay. How do we manage sessions in MVC?
To manage a session in MVC, like if you want to transfer data from one page to another, you can use the temp data. And if you want to store the session related user related data, so you can use the session system.web.http.session also you can use. And apart from this, if you want to transfer data from view to controller, controller to view, in that case you can use view back and view data. And if you want to transfer from data from one action method to another action method, so there are two ways. You can use temp data, and you can also use the query string as well.
Okay. What is the syntax to create a temp data?
What is the syntax? Okay, so should I write in the chat box?
Yes.
So I am creating a temp data, name of variable, and storing my names as a Sadiq. So you can also
Okay.
store the objects as well. I am just storing in a normal string.
Okay. Uh, so this temp data value, how long it will have the memory of this temp data?
So if you talk about the life cycle of the value in the temp data, so if you are reading the temp data value, so it will be vanished from the temp data. And if you want to retain those values, so you can use two functions, that is called the peek and keep.
What is the difference between view and partial view?
So view is basically like if you have a URL and you want to display a bigger view, like that is display in your browser, so you will use view. And partial view is a view that is rendered in the main view.
What is the use of a partial view?
Sorry, can you come again? What is?
Use of a partial view.
Okay, so if you have a couple of HTML that is used in the entire project or in the multiple places, so you will transfer those HTML into a separate view called partial view, and you will render those view in the multiple places. So by using this, you can get two advantage. One is the modifiability, and another one is the understandability. So modifiability, like if you are changing the partial view and you are rendering it on the 100 places, so that modification will reflect in the 100 places without any error. And understandability, like if you want to create a breadcrumb, like so that breadcrumb HTML, like 5 line of HTML of the breadcrumb you want to render on the on pages on all pages. So what you will do, you will create a partial view named breadcrumb and random on page, so that will create a more understandability for the next developer as well.
How many action filters are there in MVC?
Which, sorry, action filter?
Yeah, action filter.
Two action filter, so on action executing and on action executed.
Only two?
Yes, action filter are two. If you are talking about the action attribute, so there are four, like on action executing, on action executed, on result executing, on result executed.
Okay. How do you handle errors?
So handling, like you're talking about the logging of the error.
Anything.
Anything.
If you have an error, if there is error coming, how you are going to capture that error?
Okay, so if that error is, you can write the exception filter for the same. First of all, so using the exception filter you can handle. The another way you can you can use log format for the same. So using the log format you can write the appender. So in the log format we have 4 appender, like application inside appender, SQL appender, text file appender. So let's say we are generating for the SQL appender. So if any error occurs, the log4net will insert a record in a specific database, so you can handle those type of error in that way. And if you are writing exception filter, so using the exception filter you can show the error page, like some error occurred, instead of showing that yellow and red .NET error page, you can show the error page, so that using that one you can handle the error.
Mention any exception filter that you used.
Any exception, sorry,
Filter. You're talking about exception filters, no?
Yes. So in our project we will be having one exception filter that is displaying the error page in our application. So in any way, and we are registering those that exception filter as a global level. So if in any controller, in any action, in anywhere, if we are facing any exception, so automatically MVC application will redirect to a specific error page, and that code is written in the exception filter, and that filter is registered as a global level, so that can be called from entire of the application.
What is bundling and minification?
Bundling and minification. Bundling is a technique to club the multiple JavaScript and CSS into single file. So let's say we are having 10 JavaScript files, and if you are not doing the bundling, so that 10 JavaScript file will be downloaded in a separate request. So what we are doing, we will create a bundle of the script and bundle of the styles in MVC, so that will be downloaded as a single request. And minification is the process to minify the code. So what is actually it doing? It is removing the spaces and long variable name in the minification process. So ASP.NET MVC supports, by default supports these application, these like minification and bundling.
Okay. In jQuery, what is method chaining?
Method chaining is like what we can, if you are calling a specific jQuery function, and using the result you can call another jQuery function, and those 2 or 3 function applicable on the single element that we are using in the selector, so that is called the jQuery chaining.
What is the arrow function?
Arrow function, it's a like what we can do, we can say like we have a specific function. Okay, now you want to inject function inside the function, so you are using x such that x as an arrow function. So if you are writing x such that x, so it means the first x is an input parameter, and another x is like a function body, so it's an arrow function. So definitely we are using in the map function, map.x such that x. So map will execute that arrow function for each element of the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
In SQL, what is unique key?
Okay, unique key, it's a constraint basically. So what it constraint defines, it will not allow to insert the non-unique value in a specific column. So it's a unique key.
Okay. Write a syntax to create an identity column in a table.
Okay, so should I write?
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
Okay. What is self join and where it is used?
Okay, self join when we are joining the same table with when we are joining let's say you have a table called nodes, okay, and you are joining the node table with the node table with different aliases, so it's a self join. And we are using self join to generate the trees, like in my last project, in the pay and park project, we are having the mega menu. To generate the mega menu, we are using self join. So that mega menu table has a id of sub nodes inside the nodes table, so we are using the self join there to generate the tree of nodes.
Okay. What you can return from a store procedure?
Sorry, can you come again? What
You can return from a store procedure.
what is written from?
What you can return from a store procedure? Basically, what is a store procedure?
Stored procedure is a compiled bunch of statement that will be stored in a single line. So this is basically stored procedure is when you are executing the stored procedure, so each time it will not compiling the codes, it is just executing, because there were three steps: parse, compile, and execute. So in the stored procedure thing, it will only execute. And in the stored procedure, you can return value using the out parameter.
Okay. Can we use a store procedure inside a function?
Can you use stored procedure inside a function? No. In the function, we are using only select statements or the table valued statement if the function is a table valued function. And in stored procedure, we are writing the DML statement. So you can't use stored procedure inside function.
Okay. What is CTE?
CTE is a common table expression. If you have couple of queries like join and sub queries, so you are storing those queries into a single name, and that name will be used as a table in the next query.
Okay. What is no wait?
What? No lock?
No wait.
No, I don't know. No wait.
Okay. So what is no log?
No lock, I know. If you want to avoid a dirty read for the specific table, so you are assigning a no lock with the selected statement, so it will not acquire the lock in the SQL server.
So consider I am inserting around 3000 entries. Okay. While inserting itself, my server got down.
Yes.
So now what? How you will handle this from a store procedure? I'm calling a store procedure. While inserting itself, it got.
So if you are inserting 3000 records, so you can use the SQL bulk. So SQL bulk will help you to reduce the time for the same. And apart from this, like if you insert in the SQL bulk query, you can use with the no lock. So it will not acquire the lock on the table, and the other people can read the inserted value.
Any other things that we can use?
So what's the scenario? You want to insert a 3000 record in the table, right?
In the middle of inserting itself, my server has been stopped and it was not working. So how you can handle this?
Using transaction. So in the begin tran and end tran, we can write a loop to inject the values. So if the transaction complete, then we will do the commit, and those 3000 value will be available for the table. And if anything fails, so it will roll back the transaction and no row inserted in the base table.
Okay. So a minute. Giving you one scenario.
Google का भी.
Hello.
Yes, Abhinay.
Sorry.
Yes, Abhinay.
What happened?
No, actually the network has fluctuated. So I turn off the mic. The network has fluctuated. Yeah, you can give the scenario. So,
Okay.
have
So I
you
have
written
two
anything
tables.
in the chat box? I can't see anything in the chat box.
Okay. Give me a minute. I have two tables here. Table A, employee ID, employee name, and is present.
Okay.
Table B, I have employee ID and is present column.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to write an update query to update the table B's is present column from table A is present column on a condition if table B's employee ID and table A's employee ID matches. Got it?
Table A employee ID. Okay, understood, understood. So I need to write the update on the two on the condition on based on two tables, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to update is present, right?
Yes.
Done.
Update A, set A from B. So here, where is the table A and table B?
This is I'm what I am doing actually. I am joining table A with table B after from. So from
Right.
table A
What's
joining
the
B on
name?
employee based on employee ID I am joining, and if okay, 1 second, I missed. So you told me like where the employee ID matches, I need to update from is present is table B is present to table A is present, right? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am setting A dot is present from B dot is present. and A and B is the table that you so update A is a table name, and then I am using A dot is present is equal to B dot is present. So B dot is present will give the value to A dot is present, and after the from clause I am doing the join. So we can do like update with the join after from. So is in the from I am using the join.
Okay. Okay, Shadika, I think we are done with the interview.
Yeah. So should I drop?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
अभी नया को पसीना आ गया था
तो वही तो सब आंसर तुम क्यों दे रहे थे, बोलो कि कुछ आंसर मत दो।